Hello and welcome to the Made Indian podcast. It's 2019. Can you believe it? I haven't gone back to work yet. I go back tomorrow because past year was clearly wise enough to know that being with my parents for the holidays and New Year's and then coming back and then going straight into work just would have driven me mad. So I took a couple of days off. So tomorrow it's New Year, same old me really, and a new start at work. So yeah. I've been away for 2 weeks now? Must have been 2 weeks. And part of me is like, I should have been able to show you all of these things. But yeah. I am wearing the only FO I have. This is the Julgran by Satterlund. And I'm knitted out of Volmais and Merino DK in the Almue colorway. And, well, as you know, I knit this twice, so you're probably bored to death with the details, but let's just go over it again. What did I do differently? Well, first of all, I knit this at a different gauge than what the pattern suggests, or not suggests, actually, what the pattern says you should knit it at. I think it's at 18 stitches to 10 centimeters, and using the Volmais I get around 20 stitches. Not around, I get 20 stitches to 10 centimeters on a 4mm needle. So I went up a size compared to what I would if I had the right gauge for the second attempt. The first attempt I did the size I thought I would have to do, not taking into consideration the difference in gauge and how important those 2 extra stitches really are. So yeah, I haven't decorated my tree. This got done right before Christmas, so I got done on the 22nd and we celebrate Christmas on the 24th, so yeah. Just in time. I didn't decorate the tree, and I've been really questioning whether I should decorate the tree or not. I might just do the simple garlands around for a bit of sparkle, but I don't know about sewing on beads to replicate the baubles. Yeah, not sure about that. But I do love the fit of this. I did make it a bit longer. Not only did I knit a bit further up here top than the pattern says, I think I did 2 more branches maybe, or 3 more branches. And then I ended the tree stump and just knit in reverse stockinette until I switched to the ribbing. And all of this meant that instead of having a super cropped top, well, it would just hit me around the waist really. It goes a bit lower, so I still have to wear high-waisted things with it, but I don't feel like if I move it'll expose everything. I don't feel like that. That may not be the truth. But yeah. That's just how crop things work, I suppose. I did finish this using only 2 skeins of yarn. It helps that Volmais is always a little bit above what this says, so the Merino DK comes in 200 gram skeins and I used 404 grams. And I have a little nugget left over, which is going to be tossed. I'll just be honest. I have no reason to save it, and I do have a full skein left. So, yeah, last FO of 2018. So, what I should have done was bring along my so faded jumper, because if I had, it would probably be done now. I didn't. I haven't touched that since the last time I showed you, so probably before Christmas. I probably put in a couple of rows before Christmas. See, this would be so much easier if I did show notes. But I instead cast on something else, something new. If you follow me on Instagram, I usually put my Instagram username in the box down below. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this. This is the Almue shade by Camilla. The yarn is the gorgeous, the needle is too short now, but the yarn is the gorgeous blue fade in Silver Sparkle Sock by Julgran, who dies under the name of Knitter's Kitchen. And I got this at the Fiberfolk, big difference, yarn festival. And it's big and it's going to be bigger. I don't know. The colours, very me. Like I said, New Year, same old me. And I actually wonder if people who don't speak one of the Scandinavian languages, if they would actually know what Almue is. Because I noticed that when she put it on Ravelry, even with the English recipe pattern, it still just says Almue, and she now explains her names. So I wonder if people know what Almue means. In my head, this should be red and blue and flowery colours, because I grew up in Funen, where we have the gun. Which is a heritage villa or village. So I grew up seeing a lot of these old farmhouses because we went there often for school trips, because it was free, probably. And yeah, so to me that's the mental image I get when I hear the word Almue, because that is what Almue is. It's I wouldn't say a class of people, but yeah, probably most usual way would be to say a class of people. So the blue is probably right. Should have put in some red, but I just love these colours together. And it is big. Right now I think I need another repeat of this colour sequence in accordance with the pattern. I might make it even bigger, because even though it's big enough to really wrap around and cozy up in, See, it could be bigger. Bigger isn't always better, but in a shawl that you're going to use as a scarf, bigger doesn't hurt. It's just so soft and nice, and I do love these colours together. Surprise, surprise. I do have, as you can see, I have a fair amount of yarn left, and I do have a slight plan to use the 3 darker colours, so these 3, and use them for, I don't know if it'll be a faded version of, I don't know if the camera picks up all the sparkles, but it's just, in this lighting it just sparkles like mad, and I'm so fascinated by it. It's very Winter Wonderlandish. Anyway, I have tentative plans to maybe knit up a Carrie Westerman pattern. The Beton Bru. The Garter Stitch shawl she came out with at the end of last year. But knitting it with 2 strands of yarn, because I think she recommends knitting it on a size 4.5mm needle. Now I am loosey-goosey, but I'm knitting this on a 3.75mm needle, and I really like the fabric it gives me. But I'm thinking I could go up to 4.5mm needle and use 2 strands. So use 2 strands of the first colour, which isn't this one, but would be this colour here. Use 2 strands of that together for maybe half, 2/3 of the skein. Then the last third of the skein, use 1 strand of this with 1 strand of the next colour until I have 2/3. See, this is where it messes up. I need to use half of this being the first colour, which isn't actually this. Total confusion. But for half of the first, and then use a quarter of 1 strand of the first with 1 strand of the second until I have used a quarter of that skein. Use half where I use 2 strands from that skein, and then the last quarter using 1 strand of the second skein and 1 strand of the third skein, and then using half of that all until I'm done. Just look at those colours. But as I said, it's something I've been thinking about while knitting this, because I really love the way this looks in Garter Stitch. I really love Carrie's pattern, even if I can't remember what it's called. And I think it could be really fun to make it into I don't want to say a true fade, but you know, a more true fade than the transition that Andrea Mary uses in her faded cardigans, shawls, jumpers, hats, whatever. And it's a technique I used for is it Sandnes? I think it might be Sandnes pattern several years ago. Before the whole fading thing really took off. But yeah. Who knows? First I need to finish this, so I can go out and wear it in the cold. It's not too cold today, so I haven't been outside, so really the there's no point to it, but yeah. The other thing I've been knitting on, the last thing I've been doing anything to, is for baby Julgran. And it's actually the original that his mother asked me to knit. And I've had some troubles with this. I'm not going to mention what the pattern is, but I do have a Ravelry project page, so you can always go in there and look if you're curious. The reason I'm not going to say what pattern it is that I don't find it a very well written pattern. Some stages are left out of it. Not in the actual knitting itself. There's a mistake in the cable. And it is a mistake because later in the pattern it says that you have to do the buttonhole for every X number of rows, and that will always be a cable A. Well, if you count the number of rows in the diagram, those two numbers don't match up. I'm not the only one to make the complaint that it's not a well-written pattern, so I don't feel bad about saying that. And it is a pay-for pattern, so I do expect some kind of standard from it. But yeah, this is it'll be a little bear suit. Another thing is the recommended yarn and the gauge don't seem to match either. So what I'm doing is I'm actually knitting to gauge. So I'm using 2 strands of the weight that is recommended or used in the pattern to get the gauge in the pattern. I know we're all different, but there's a really big difference between the gauge of the yarn used and the gauge of the pattern. And if you buy the original yarn and just use that as your guide, you might get the same number of stitches, but considering this is a winter suit that you should be able to put your little baby in and keep them nice and warm and snug, so a proper winter suit, it'll be very loosey-goosey and very open in the garter stitch. And the cables just look odd to me, but that might. Right now it feels really stiff at the gauge, which is due to the yarn also being really stiff. It's a sandness garn. It's more Julgran, which is a yarn that was produced for Rema 1000. And yeah, my friend provided me with this yarn, and I am crossing everything that I have enough yarn now that I'm holding things double, but I should have. I am more than halfway, so in a couple of repeats I will have to separate for the front, back and back, and I need to do the sleeves and a hood. And I've just started on 2 new skeins of yarn, and I still have 3 skeins left. The legs here, which are not that dissimilar length, I think, to the arms, they took just a little more than 2 skeins. And they are cuffed, so I'm hoping that this will get me through, but I'm not sure. It may be that the hood needs to be in a different colour. I might do, if that's the case, I might do the body in this colour and the hood and the sleeves in a white colour, for example. Don't know about white, but a different colour. So it sort of looks like babies wearing overalls. A bear suit with overalls. It's a baby. He's going to be cute either way. But I do hope it loosens up a bit in wash, because it does feel a bit stiff, but the gauge is right and the fabric seems much better than when I just used one strand. So there is that. Little baby bear. And I can't think of anything else other than telling you that this is from Rema-Tuxen. Makes me think of my parents' neighbour, who is he's a funny man. He's an elderly man, an elderly divorced man, and he's really sweet. He gave me ice cream lollies as a child, so really, he is really nice. But he has these strange oddities, and one of them is that he shops in Rema-Tuxen, but he calls it Rimi. And my dad can't figure out why, because it's not like it's a hard word. And he is Danish, so he doesn't have the same excuse as my mom has when she calls little Dilla. Which I'm sure the Danes among you are sniggering now, but yeah. My mom will publicly call the shop Dilla. And both my dad and I shop there a lot, so yeah. Anyway, that's all for me for this week. I will hopefully have some more progress when I see you next week, other than being bone tired and wondering why I ever decided to work a full week the first week back. I hope you have a great week. Bye.